Yeah, I recall us having just a few exchanges about this subject in within comments before about egocentrism and consciousness and I guess, I don't know, self-aware things. And I think the answer, perhaps, to what's so valuable, what's so special about consciousness, is in the last thing you said about how you'd rather have wings than have consciousness. The problem with that is that you wouldn't be able to appreciate those wings if you were not aware that you had those wings. And so, merely not being consciousness, there would be no point to having those wings. So I think probably the secret behind why we like consciousness so much is the same reason why we like being alive so much, because life is pretty much our only shot at being conscious. Before we were born, we were particles, we were unconscious matter, and then through whatever coincidences or scenarios, those particles got together and we were born. And why do we fear death? It's because we don't want to not exist anymore. And that's kind of odd, because we will still exist, and just will be in a billions of pieces. It's just that we have no sense of existence. It's like we're not there if we're not conscious. And so I think we can carry that on and make it even simpler. The answer to why we value consciousness so much is that we value existence over non-existence. We value something over nothing, and that's something very common. I don't think anyone could find some sort of argument against why something isn't better than nothing, because it's like saying, I don't know, 1 is a greater amount than 0. I don't know if you can simplify it that far, but I'd rather have a life than no life because I have something to work with. I'd rather have water than no water. Rather have, I don't know, specifically me, I'd rather have video games than no video games. Or I could probably keep sane with something else. I'd have a book, but I'd rather have a book than no book. I think it's as simple as that. It's like you're talking about how we're being egocentric about being conscious. What else do you want us to be? We have an ego. Of course, nothing can be egocentric unless it has an ego. So we're the only people that have that ability of being egocentric. So we're going to be that way, I guess. A rock can't be proud of itself because it can't perceive its own situation. There is no it. There is no entity. There is no personality. There's no persona there. So I guess in the end, because there's only a semblance of existing when you are conscious, that to be conscious is to be there, and to be unconscious is to not be there. And I guess a universe without any consciousness, it would be a universe where nothing's there, because there's just a void I guess there's no one doing any observation. It's just, I guess, just a void, a silence, a great silence. And I guess that's probably just my personal view of how I appreciate being over not being, consciousness over unconsciousness. I mean, because when the few times that I've ever lost consciousness, that I've fainted, it's just nothing. It's like nothing happened. It just skipped over, and I woke up. So that probably already says something about at least how I view unconsciousness. It's just nothing. Nothing happened. Nothing. So if I'm unconscious, I perceive there to be nothing. So I guess unconsciousness is basically just nothing. Nothingness. It's just as good as no matter being there, because there's just no semblance of anything being there. Of course, you might probably just say that this is just me because I'm a conscious person. I'm being egocentric about the way I perceive something and nothing being there. But I think I've made a solid point. I guess I did. I don't know. Say something about that. We can talk more about it.